Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 3DXL podcast. My name is Ray. You can find me over on Twitter, X, Twix, at RAYRAY 200123. With me, as always, the co host of the 3X podcast, Unavailable Try Again, aka Atomic Dog, on Twitter, BKAD. Bro, how you doing, man?
Pleasantly surprised, actually. Pay per
Why?
view was much better than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, the Survivor Series as far as pay per view or PLE?
Yeah, yeah, it was much better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't have
I
high hopes.
didn't see it. I was at work, but you were definitely recapping me or sending me as far as updates. So I'm gonna heavily lean on D for this one. Survivor Series had. We did not. Apologies for not doing a prediction show. I myself, because of my certain current situation, didn't want to stay up too late doing as far as the upload. I failed to communicate that with D. That's my fault. But regardless, we both agreed that the favorites were going to win. That's why we didn't find it very interesting. I didn't think it was necessary to do a prediction show, but I figured we would do a recap show. We got one of the five wrong, but there was another one that, as far as re-debuts that occurred, which we'll get to in just a moment. But I guess overall thoughts. I think me, you both agreed that we had all the favorites. Going into as far as the event. There was
Yeah,
heavy favorites too, with like Gunther. I asked you as far as between Gunther and Rhea, who was the heaviest favorite. You thought it was Rhea. She was a minus 3,000 favorite. Gunther was a minus 4,000 favorite. But I mean, it was just I thought it was kind of a straightforward pay per view. But it still ended up giving us a couple surprises on the show.
yeah, it was a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot of surprises, but there were a few things that, two things in particular that surprised me. But
Yes.
we'll talk about it when we get to
Yes,
it.
the aftermath, which we definitely want to get to. We're usually a bit early with the recast, but D felt the need that there's for sure to do this, and I kind of agreed with him. So first up with the pay per view we had as far as the women's War Games match, we had as far as Damage Control. They were actually the favorites. I think they were minus 250 favorite, and we had Team Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Belair, and Shotzi, where there were the dogs in this one. This is the one we got wrong. We thought Damage Control was gonna be the one that won the match. We both thought Shotzi was gonna be the one that was gonna take the pin because she
Yeah, I
just
knew
got through in
Shotzi was
there.
going to eat the pin. I
And
just knew she was going to eat that pin.
yeah, and surprisingly, no, I think you were telling me a little bit as far as, and I have a picture graphic of Bailey. I think there was a finisher with her going through the table. She took all the finishes, I believe you told me, and
Yeah,
she ended
that's
up
when I
being the one
knew
that
it
got
was a
pinned.
wrap. Yeah, that's when I knew it was a wrap. Going up to the match was honestly pretty good. I was surprised at how good it was. They brought in actually I think more weapons than the men's match did,
Really?
which was surprising. Yeah, every bad guy, quote unquote, every heel brought in a weapon, and then Oscar at the end brought in a table. So I mean, it was very interesting. They brought in a bunch of kendo sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, EO did her garbage can spot from off the top
I
of the
did see
cage,
that.
by the way.
That I did see.
Yeah, she did it off the top of the cage. So I mean, it was a really good match. Charlotte was actually really she was better than I thought she was going to be. She was very giving. The match overall was really good. It was just really good. And like I said, I would have put money on Shotzi eating that pin. So barely eating the pin was surprising. But it's like I text you
Mm-hmm.
while I was giving you the updates. I was like, well, Bailey just took all the finishers and they're setting her up on this table. And once she went to that table, I was just like, ooh, there's gonna be some. They're either gonna turn on her,
Damage Control.
or yeah, Damage Control is gonna turn on her, or nope, that's about it. Damage Control is probably gonna turn on her and say that, she was the reason why they lost and why they still with her. And another thing I was surprised is how they got Dakota Kai involved with her not being able to take contact. She was able to do things from outside of the ring, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, team. That said, Belair, Flair, Lynch, and Shotzi did defeat Damage Control via pin when they pinned Belly or Bailey. The match went 33 minutes and 35 seconds. I guess I don't know. I guess that the reason why Bailey, like you said, lost is probably because they're going to kick her out. Um, I, there's rumblings of Mercedes Moné, the former Sasha Banks, coming back. That would kind of make sense. So we'll see where they go with that. But I mean, I don't know. Like I do have a as far as angle with the four women like kind of hanging on the top of the cage, but cool as far as little spot as far as the visual of having them on top. But yeah, I guess that's something logical I can think of that why they beat Bailey in this one when they were the favorites. But I really don't have much as far as saying. I do have to watch this match. If that is very interesting. You said that there's more weapons that were drawn in the women's match as opposed to the men's. So I'll
Yeah,
probably
I'm
watch
pretty
this one for
sure.
sure. I got to see that EO spot as well.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised because they looked confused in the beginning. It looked like they tried to do something with the garbage can, and like between her and Bailey, they weren't really sure, and they wound up putting it down. But then later on, like I said, and they did a cool spot with like a link chain. Dakota Kai was outside. Io went up to the top. She put the chain down, and Dakota Kai hooked the garbage can up to the chain, and
Hmm.
Io from the top of the cage pulled the garbage can up by the chain, and that's when she did her spot, which I thought was actually a pretty cool way to introduce, another weapon to the match.
Hmm.
I had never seen that done before. But
Yeah.
overall, it was definitely a good match. And if they're gonna kick Bailey over to the good guy side, and if Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, whatever you want to call her, is gonna come back, which she's another one who I'm just tired of. The intrigue is kind of gone for me, because it's just constant. Where's she gonna go? Where's she gonna go? Where's she gonna go? And after a while, I lose interest if you're not going to make a decision. But if they do somehow get her back in WWE, they can't fluff this up again
Hmm.
and not do a four horsewomen's kind of thing.
Like,
They have to
hmm.
do this match if that's what you're good. You already lost out on it once. You lost out on a Shield triple threat match, a real
Hmm.
one. If you get a chance to do a do over, don't they can't mess that up. Knock it out real quick. Because like we see nowadays, you never know who's gonna leave and go where.
Yeah. I mean, well, Sasha Banks is kind of like the female CM Punk, but more on him later.
Yeah,
Moving on to the next match. I guess I'll watch it with that later, but whenever I get a chance. Next match, I believe on the card was, from what I recall, was Gunther versus Miz. Gunther, like I said
yeah,
previously, was a minus 4,000 favorite. There was no way in hell he was losing this match. That match went 12 minutes and 20 seconds. I believe Gunther did submit Miz with the line tamer, from
yeah.
what you told
With
me.
the Lion Tamer, yes,
And there was a
yes.
Chris Jericho reference said by Cole, which is actually kind of surprising. But you said this match was actually a little bit better than you anticipated.
Oh, much better than it. Let me see that the Miz can still put on decent matches. Like for as much crap that he gets and how
Mm,
he's not a real wrestler and things like that, he can put on some decent matches. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, it was Gunther." Well, it takes two to tango, and
very true.
it was really a good match, even from the beginning when Miz just started going after Gunther's legs. And you know how at the end of matches, people will look at somebody like, "Damn, I wasn't expecting that." That's kind of the look that Gunther gave Miz at the end of the match. Hell, Miz kicked out of a power bomb. It
Mhm.
was a really good match, you know?
I mean, I was somewhat intrigued by the match just based off of the promo work that these two men did. Especially Gunther, from what I recall, said that in the past, like the Miz was part of wrestling or part of WWE that he just did not want to watch or refused to watch because
Yeah.
Raw was so bad, and I kind of agree with him. But I mean, the promo work from Miz was a little bit better. Was he the babyface in his angle?
Honestly, it was hard to tell. It didn't seem like there was a heel or a babyface. It just seemed like two guys wrestling over a title, which, I can't be mad at.
Yeah, I
Because
guess.
you know
Yeah,
how I feel about titles. Everybody should want to get the title. I don't care whether
yeah.
you're a heel or a face, you should want to get the title. So if a heel wants to fight a heel or if a face wants to fight a face, hell, as long as they're going for a title, who cares? And that's kind of what it is. And Miz just laid it all out there. He tried to go chop for chop with
Hmm.
with Gunther, and that wasn't gonna work. He hit him with the skull crushing finale. It was just a lot. Pulled off the turnbuckle and drove Gunther's shoulder into it. So I mean, it was just a lot that happened in the match. And
Yeah.
overall, like I said, I thought it was a good match.
I mean, at this point, I think it's time to kind of move Gunther up. I think now we're kind of heading to the road to WrestleMania. Like, I'm pretty sure he'll probably be in the Rumble. Good, good chance that he probably win the last four men standing in the ring at the Royal Rumble in Tampa. I believe that's where the Rumble will be.
Well, he had a
But
great showing last year.
yeah, I mean, like this guy is just one of the best wrestlers on the planet right now, and the guy is just is night and day going from Walter to being somewhat overweight to now Gunther and just being in outstanding shape. He has the look, he has the feel. The guy just had some tremendous matches, 5-star matches, especially against Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Like that was one for me. We're gonna
I
be in
mean, to be
top
fair,
10.
he was great as Walter. He was really good as Walter
Yeah,
too.
true.
So
I mean when he
not like
slapped the
that
hell
they
out
could
of freaking what's it called, the
Ilya Dragunov.
No. Well, him too, but Adam Cole and Bobby Fish
Oh,
and Kyle. Oh my! He just killed these blokes. But that was my brother was laughing so hard. I've never heard him laugh so hard when he saw that. But the
I
guy's
mean,
just
this is a
tremendous.
far cry. It's a far cry from last year's Survivor Series when he was made to look like a fool by Vince McMahon.
True.
If you remember, he was one of the first ones eliminated because they had that NXT versus SmackDown versus Raw
Oh
jump off. If it
yeah, I
wasn't last year, it was
remember.
the year before. Keith Lee had a great showing. I can't remember whether it was last year or the year before, but I'm pretty sure it was last year. And Keith Lee had the great showing, but Walter was the first one eliminated.
That was so
Or
stupid.
Gunther. I think I don't even remember what
I
they
do
were
remember
calling
that.
him.
A lot of people were really upset when that happened, but
Yeah.
the AEW fight kind of really changed things up for sure. But yeah, any last thoughts on this match?
No, it was just a good match. Like I said, it was better than I expected, and I'm not gonna say you need to go out of your way and watch it, but if you're gonna watch the pay-per-view, that's one of those matches you want to watch.
It's a short match, so you can definitely kind of go through it. But
Yeah.
I kind of want to see him do the Lion Tamer because I could just I can't visualize that one, but I'll definitely take a look at that. But moving on to the next match, this one was kind of a late replacement. I believe they had originally Santos Escobar going against Carlito.
Yeah,
They did a
Carlito.
yeah, Carlito. They did as far as a shoot angle, I guess. Well, not kind of like an angle or injury angle to take out Carlito, which was weird because when I saw the promo from Carlito, he said he had not been on a pay per view since for over a decade, and they just decided to take this dude out and just replace him with Dragon Lee. This match, I mean, this match went not very long. It was 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Santos Escobar was originally a minus 1,000 favorite to beat Carlito. I imagine he was probably a minus 2,000 favorite against Dragon Lee, but he won via pinfall. Not much I can say from this other than Santos Escobar has the look of a heel. I'm just kind of happy to see a minority kind of get a push, and also as far as him tear apart the LWO by himself. But he's doing good as a heel, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do as far as in the future. And he probably has two new, as far as guys come from NXT to help him back him up against the LWO. But any thoughts on this match?
I mean, Santos Escobar has always been pretty good, even when he was with Legado di Fantasma and he was going against Hit Row. It was a great storyline. So them trying to do all of this with him, like I feel like he really got lost in the shuffle being with Ray in the LWO.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. I am very happy that he's no longer. I shouldn't say in Ray's shadow, but he technically was in Ray's shadow. And I'm kind of over Rey Mysterio at this point.
Yeah. Trust me.
So it's nice.
The Hispanics are retired to him too, bro. Trust me.
But it's nice to see that people like him, Dragon Lee. Hopefully, if rumors are true, and he is reforming Legado di Fantasma, that it will be Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. Because why those two aren't being used, especially Angel Garza, is like beyond me. It's criminal that Angel Garza is not being used. So I'm really happy that they're kind of distancing themselves from Rey Mysterio and allowing some of the younger guys to take over because you can only ride the Rey Mysterio train for so long. He's already had his knees replaced. He came back bigger, or I could say bigger, but he came back better than he was before. He's been moving well, but it's time to push somebody else. It definitely is time to push
Yeah.
somebody else,
Yeah.
and
It's
it's
like
not going to
yeah.
be done.
Well, I think I mean we kind of saw the heel turn coming too. So, but man, he's going. I mean, he's getting. I mean, from what I heard, he had a lot of heat in this match, but
Yeah,
um,
it was
good
a
for him.
decent match.
He was getting. He's better used this way as a heel as opposed to babyface. It's just he looked like he was out of his element.
Yeah, he's just better used as a heel, like you said. And this match was a good match. It was just a match. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know what people were expecting, but
Yeah.
it was just a decent match.
Okay. The match was there, but like I'm liking what I see from Santo Escobar, and we'll see where the future holds for him and the ELWO. But all right, moving on to the next match. Well, actually, before we move on to the next match, there was a couple segments they were kind of teasing. There was a tease where I believe Sami Zayn and Jay were wondering where Randy Orton was, and they were both saying that he was
Yeah.
not at the arena. And a lot of fans were already starting to indicate or think that CM Punk was going to be the guy to replace Randy because I believe also Judgment Day kind of said that he wouldn't make it. So I was like, that WWE needs to be careful here because if you give false, hope that thinking that Randy Orton is not the guy and it's CM Punk, you're going to disappoint a lot of fans. But
Yeah, they had a segment back there where, Judgment Day. Well, Damian Priest went and talked to Drew McIntyre to tell him about the quote unquote plan, which I guess we'll talk about. And there was another backstage segment that I actually enjoyed. I think I told you about it. It's not getting, it doesn't get much airplay, but you had Tozawa with Otis, and I never remember the lady that's with him, but Tozawa was sitting on her lap,
mm-hmm.
and you had the women tag team champions Piper Niven and Chelsea Green sitting there, and they were eating Ruffles because it was sponsored by Ruffles,
Yes.
and Pretty Deadly comes in and they're going back and forth with Otis about what Ruffles are called, what the chips are called, and they knock the chips out of Otis's hand. And Otis gets up and he's mad. Then all of a sudden he's making Pretty Deadly clean it up, and out of nowhere here's R-Truth. And
Returning
R-Truth
R-Truth.
comes in. Yes, and he comes in with the comedy. He was telling them how they're both wrong. It's not chips. I can't remember what crisp. He's like, it's not chips. It's not crisp. They're Ruffles. Then he looks at Tozawa. And he says, Tozawa, do the Ruffle Shuffle. And I just thought that this segment, it was stupid, but it was funny. I enjoyed it. It was one of those segments where you're like, why are they doing this? And when R-Truth comes out, it's just funny. And if you're gonna watch the pay-per-view, just keep an eye out for that segment.
I did hear about this. Just R-Truth, the immortal R-Truth, it just doesn't age, man. I swear to God,
bro, he looks great.
Yeah, he's. But I did see. I don't know if you saw a video of he was out with the fans outside during the main event. I think Jey Uso was kind of got on top of the cage and started putting his hands up, and they turned to R-Truth, and R-Truth was there doing the same thing with the fans. So that's great to see R-Truth back. I'm glad he's. Hopefully they give him some time. But hopefully they use him.
He doesn't need to do
anything.
He's perfect doing this. He's still getting a paycheck. He's still around.
Yeah.
I like R-Truth. I like Ron Killings. He's just timeless. The timeless Ron Killings.
Well, I don't want to pick a fight with this dude, that's for sure. But the guy's in phenomenal shape. But anyway, all right. Yeah. So going into the fourth match, I believe we had as far as Rhea Ripley going against Zoe Stark. This match, Rhea Ripley was a minus 3,000 favorite earlier as far as brought this up. There was just no way in hell Zoe was going to win this match. This match went 9 minutes and 15 seconds. I believe Rhea Ripley pinned her. But, I mean, I didn't see much from this. All I know is that Rhea beat her. But any takeaways from this match?
Yeah, that Zoe Starks is a pretty good wrestler. This was better than I thought it was going to be. Another one of those matches where I was just like, okay, I see why they put Zoe Stark in this position, because they gave her an opportunity to showcase, that she can actually wrestle. And she's a hard hitter, kind of like Rhea. And it was a good match. This was one of those matches where I would say you should definitely take a look at it. You're not going to be blown away by anything, of course, but you're going to enjoy the match. The match overall was good
Lord.
What happened?
No, I just moved to the next slide and have a visual of Rhea Ripley getting her hand raised, and she looks fucking terrifying, bro.
Because it was a good match. Like I said, it was a hard-hitting match. Definitely a hard-hitting match.
She looked like she beat the... Well, her lipstick looks a little smeared, so I imagine that's because
she came out smeared.
Jeez. Oh, did she? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, but...
That was how she came out. But like I said, they were from the curb stomps to the headbutts. They were hitting each other hard. They were hitting each other pretty damn hard. I enjoyed it, and I want to see where they go with Zoe Stark. Kind of makes me wish that they had a women's mid-card title.
Isn't that the women's tag team?
Man, I don't know. I don't know.
Anyways, I guess Rhea Ripley, the one thing I will say is I see her still being the champion until WrestleMania. I'm very curious to see who they put up against. We did talk about that, I think, in the last couple of days. I don't remember what answer you gave me, but who you said it was Becky Lynch you thought that she would probably go up against?
Yeah, I figured it would probably be Becky Lynch at WrestleMania or something like that.
I did peek I did take a peek at the odds as far as opening odds for the Rumble. That actually did come out today, and Becky was at the very top, so you might be onto something.
Oh, really? I just mean, who else is there for Rhea to go against besides her or Bianca? You don't have many unless you're gonna push Jade up there real quick, which I don't see. And it's just interesting how long they've had, title holders for.
Yeah.
Like if you really think about it, the people who have had the titles now have had these titles for a good while. Like for the most part, Seth has had his title for a while. Gunther has had his title for a record breaking time. Rhea's had her title for a while. Um, Roman, forget about it. And then the only ones that have had any kind of movement were the SmackDown Women's Championship and the Tag Championships.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious to see what they're gonna do. Well, and I guess the United States Championship, we really even care about that one at this point.
I mean,
I don't
know.
even know who the champion is. Oh, Logan Paul. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, the U.S. champion Logan Paul. Well, we forgot about that belt because it was with fucking what's his name,
Austin
the
Theory,
Austin Theory.
and then Rey Mysterio, and then Logan Paul has won it, and we haven't seen him since,
I mean, I guess that
which is
belt is
indicative of
cursed.
the U.S. title.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see, but I guess I'm pretty sure they're gonna utilize Logan Paul at WrestleMania, so we'll see.
Oh yeah, he'll be there
Um,
for all of it,
yeah.
but the title still doesn't mean anything.
Well, I'm guessing that's why WWE put the belt on him to hoping that he would probably do something with it. But yeah, you're right. I haven't heard
If
or
he's
seen
not there,
anything.
what is he doing with it?
Taking a shower with it, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, all right. So, any last thoughts from the Rhea Ripley match?
Just a good, solid match. Like, I mean, this pay per view was a solid C plus B minus pay per view. It was just a really decent pay per view, worth a watch.
Okay. All right.
So
We'll go on to the main event and the aftermath of that, which is what we really want to get into. But main event time, we had the men's war games between Team Cody and going against Judgment Day. Team Cody, I believe, was minus 250, and Judgment Day was the underdogs in this one. We kind of figured JD McDonough would be the one that would take the pin. That's the one that made sense. That's not what exactly happened. There were, yeah, and the four men that mainly came out were Seth, Cody, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn. There was no Randy Orton inside yet. So people were already thinking that CM Punk was the fifth guy. I didn't think it was going to happen. The wife of Randy Orton was there, so I kind of figured he was going to be there. So we going as far as to the match. This one, going as far as to the ending of the match, like before the last entry of the War Games before it started, Rhea Ripley did make her way down. She came down to bring it over the briefcase. I assume that's what the plan was.
yeah, he was cashing it in until Randy Orton was a kid.
And of course, like you said, Randy Orton was there to make the save. He actually did show up. People prior to Randy Orton showing up, though, there were some CM Punk chants, but they were mostly Randy Orton chants because people were more realistic, I guess. I heard a couple boos when people were chanting CM Punk, but moving into the match, Team Cody actually was the one that came out as far as victorious. They actually made the pin, and they actually pinned Dominic Mysterio, which I found surprising.
It was Damian Priest.
Was it Damian Priest?
Yeah, it was Damian.
That's interesting. So that's even worse.
Yeah, but I thought it was going to be JD McDonough after he took that sick RKO off the top of the cage.
Yeah, but I mean, I did see that. Madonna, I guess they couldn't move him. I don't know. Maybe they called you think they might have called an audible because he kind of. I see him in the corner. He didn't move after that.
Oh really? All I know is he ate that RKO.
Yeah. No, dude.
He didn't look like. It wasn't like I'm gonna try to protect myself. He looked like he came down full on arm, stomach, legs flat. Flat board. Just completely ate it. Like, how some people are trying to protect themselves when they're taking certain moves like that, or the pedigree or things like that. They'll try to put their knees in. He jumped off the top of that cage and just completely ate all of that RKO.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing as far as I saw, like when Randy Orton came out, bro, he was looking jacked, brother. Like he was huge. Like I've never seen him that ripped, bro. Next to the other guys, he looks like in the best shape and just towers over the rest of these dudes. But I kind of saw a little bit as far as what's going on in the match. Dominic Mysterio definitely had the most heat in this match. He wasn't even in there. They were chanting "Dominic sucks." I think you were saying that too. You're saying that message.
Yeah, Yep. You Dom, you suck or something like that.
Yeah.
They were on his case for no reason whatsoever. He didn't even do anything. They were on his case.
Well, I guess any
I mean, and
takeaways from this match overall, like what you thought?
I mean, it was just a regular old war games match. It's not much to me when you get war games matches. You're just gonna get just more brutality than anything. You're not doing anything special. I felt sorry for the cameraman. They kept cutting to his camera, and he was that one dude who's in the ring. I'm just looking at him like, Jesus, bro. He gets a workout. He has to stay completely out of the way of everything, and it's
Dang.
got to be difficult. It cannot be easy to be in the ring, in the cage with them, between the rings, and just dodging everything. It was interesting to watch him do that. I thought it was interesting to watch them all do the Randy Orton DDT.
Yeah, he was
Like
he was
how popular
chanting or
that.
saying something weird. Do you know what he was saying?
I have no clue. I thought he was speaking in tongues or something. I have no idea what Randy
I
Orton
love.
was doing. He looked like
Randy
he
was
was
just
happy
being
to be back,
Randy.
though. Yeah, he
Like,
definitely looked like he was happy to be back.
I mean, I thought he was gonna
I
start
will say
twerking
that
afterwards or some shit.
I was surprised that Finn Balor and Seth Rollins started the match. That's one thing that I was surprised at. And that was a good to me. That was a good way to get it started.
Hmm.
Did you get a chance to see his outfit
Oh,
coming
I
in?
heard. I heard he had pillows on his shoulders or some shit. I
Even
just
I looked at it like, what are we doing here, bro? What are we doing
come to
here,
the side,
bro?
brother. Like, dude, I'm just whatever. Like, but. My outlook on Seth Rollins kind of changed after the match, which we'll get to in just a short moment. But
Yeah.
overall, the match went 34 minutes and 50 seconds. The Team Cody did as far as pin. You said it was Punishment
Damian
Martinez.
Priest, yeah.
Yeah, Damian Priest. But
Damian Priest.
I
Wait, before we move on, what is this yeet stuff?
I
Maybe
don't
I haven't
know.
watched enough of the Raw programming,
That's a Cody
but
and Jay
what is
Uso thing.
this? Yes, what like I know what it is for video games, obviously.
Yeah.
What is it with Jay? Like them screaming yeet, it actually got on my nerves. 'Cause I'm just like, why are we screaming yeet? What are we doing? Like
I don't know.
I could not get it. I didn't get it to save my life. I got a chuckle out of it, but the way that they just kept on going when he was doing his rock punches, which is another thing. Like I understand you're all family, but why they are biting off the rock so much?
So some
Like
more
it's
way,
like
brother.
yeah, everybody took a piece of the rock that's wrestling right now, who's part of the family. It was just weird. And I love the part where Dominic was going for the Three Amigos, and while he was when he went to go do the third one, he realized that he was surrounded. It was like
Yeah.
you fucked up.
I did see
It
that.
was
Yeah,
that
I was kind of I was making my way from work, and I put on the I have my ways of watching streams, and D knows what I'm talking about. I will not as far as bring up what it is, but I was watching you shouldn't do this, by the way. Do not watch and drive while you're doing it at the same time as far as video. But I was as far as seeing that angle or that part, the shot as far as visual of him getting his ass whooped by the rest of the Team Cody. But I mean, I saw
another
half of
good
it at
spot.
least, a list, but
Did you see the triple choke slam?
I
That
did
was a
see
nice
that.
spot.
That it was Drew
That
and
was a nice
yeah,
Priest. Yes, that was a nice spot. I was surprised that they did something like that. And I mean, and they sold it well.
I
And
mean,
another thing that I have to mention that I like, Damian Priest is his Razor's Edge. I like it. I don't
really.
know what he calls it, but it kind of reminds me of Hernandez's border toss.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the way that he gives the Razor's Edge. I think it's very interesting. Like I said, I thought that the match was overall good, but there were certain
Mm-hmm.
spots where I was just like, okay, I feel this. I feel this. I like it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll have to watch it. I don't know when I'm gonna get a chance to see it, but I well get into it. We'll discuss as far as more detail. But overall, I guess it was you graded the show overall, the matches quality. It was like a C or B minus
I would
show.
say I'd give it a B minus. Yeah,
Okay.
about a B minus.
So I know the answer to this already, but which show did you enjoy better, Survivor Series or Full Gear?
I'm going to say Full Gear because I thought that the death match was the best match of both shows.
Of the month, yeah.
That
That
which we'll
yeah.
definitely have to talk about. We'll have to get into
Yes.
that in another podcast. But I think that Hangman Swerve match was that should be
Sick.
up there for match of the year.
Literally, it was sick. So,
Yeah,
but
it
that
really
match is
was.
insane. We'll definitely do a recap for the AW Full Gear likely this coming week, but this one we had to discuss really quick. So, getting to what we want to discuss that while the strike while iron's hot, as D said.
Let's not say
So,
we want to.
well, we have to, I guess we'll put it. 'Cause even you said that. But once the match was starting to wind down, we started getting the credits as far as the show ending. We thought it was pretty much over, and
I pretty much thought it was over. I thought it was over.
I
I
thought it
didn't
was
think
over
that this
too because I was about to turn off
when
my
they,
phone. Yeah,
yes, I was ready to cut off the thing, and then all of a sudden I see, you hear the
the
record scratch,
static play. Yes, the static
and
plays,
even and at that point, it still didn't even hit me what was
dude.
going on until they
Yeah.
showed the CM Punk logo on the sides of the
Yes,
thing, and you started seeing it on the Titantron. I was like, no way.
dude.
You know what? My actual words were, no fucking way.
I thought it was an alternate universe. Like for a second or two, I was so confused. I had no idea what was going on. But yeah, just like D, as far as alluded to, a wild CM Punk appeared after a 10-year
Well, but let's
hiatus,
not
I
even.
believe.
He didn't even come right out. They played his music, and it took him a couple of minutes to come out. So I'm sitting there like, are they trolling? What did it? What
That
is
too.
this?
Yes, yes. There was a
Like, there's
delay. That
no
was
way that
weird.
he's gonna just. I was like, there's no way they're just gonna play his music, his Titantron, and he's not gonna come out. But where is he? I'm like, is he gonna come out and attack somebody? What the hell is going on? Then when he came out and he just walked out, I was just like, no fucking way.
Yeah,
There's
like no.
no
You said something else.
fucking
You said,
way.
"Oh shit!" Like you've been
Yeah,
trying
that was
to.
another.
Yeah.
That
Uh,
was another thing, and I've been trying not to curse. So when yeah, there was a lot of obscenities when he came out at that time.
Well,
It
getting to it,
was
yeah, that was just unbelievable. Like the visual of seeing
definitely
CM Punk in the WWE arena with the graphics and all, it was kind of somewhat surreal because we just thought he was never going to show up after how bad how they ended in
10
bad
years.
terms. It was 10+ years since he last showed up in WWE, but officially hell has frozen over. I do have a graphic with the Triple H finger pointing to CM Punk with the WWE logo in the background.
They
Man,
served the man termination papers on his wedding
wedding,
day.
yes, on his wedding, which is unbelievable. But that's the Triple H effect. I guess that's the TKO effect.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
Triple H is on another level.
he
People
is.
can hate on him if they want to. Triple H is on another level. As a person who it seems like as a backstage mentor, as a booker, Triple H is on another level.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I know AEW marks are gonna really hate this. I really don't care. Triple H is a better booker
yeah.
than Tony.
No, very true, bro. I was a big fan of the Black and Gold brand with NXT. I loved
Yeah, me
NXT
too.
before AW existed. It was fantastic. It was
And if you
great stuff.
notice, all of the people who are in place right now were NXT people for the most part.
Yes.
Like there are very few Vince people who were in the limelight. Most of these people are NXT people, and
And you
we
mix them
have
in
to
with,
thank
with good
Triple H.
workers, yeah, absolutely. Triple H is
And
the
even
man.
though when we go into these pay-per-views, like, oh, this is probably going to be mid, you look at it and you're just like, well, this is a good solid B pay-per-view. Like they haven't really put on too many bad, excuse me, PLEs. They haven't put on too many bad PLEs lately.
Hmm.
So I'm not surprised that he would take a page out of Vince McMahon's book and say what's best for business, because when you look at it, CM Punk is still, he was a top merch seller for AEW.
Yeah.
And people saying that AEW made a mistake. I mean, you couldn't
No.
keep him by what he did. Like everything that you were hearing, they couldn't keep him. It just is what it is.
Well,
A WWE decided to take a flyer on him.
well, I guess we'll get a little bit in details as far as what happened. So essentially, prior to I don't know what happened in the last week or so, but apparently the deal got done very quickly. That Meltzer did, as far as known on Wrestling Observer, that this deal was done 10 days ago. But the talent didn't know. The writers, everyone did not know he was showing up until the wrestlers did know going into the match, into the men's War Games. But the writers, as far as the people in the production show truck, did not know until Paul Levesque actually called for the logo and also the CM Punk music, which I'm sure surprised them. But I mean, kudos to Triple H. They gave him the keys to the kingdom, and he's running it. And I feel like they're in good hands. But I feel like this is more of an AEW effect and why WWE had to get better. But I'm curious where they go with this, because even me and you were like very curious to see how they go, because it was a shock. But
Oh yeah,
yeah, I'll
I'm
let
definitely
you
curious.
like talk about CM Punk as far as the where they're going to go with him. I'll for sure give you the floor because you had some really good talking points when I talked to you yesterday. But going into the part we really want to talk about. So, as I said, the talent were as far as told that CM Punk was going to be as far as showing up at the end. There were two specific talents that were not happy. One for sure, one of them being Drew McIntyre, the other one being Seth Rollins. I do have as far as a picture of Seth looking at the entryway where CM Punk was at, and he was not happy. So, as far as initially, that's from what I heard we thought because there is some I guess like Seth has been very vocal as far as not wanting CM Punk in WWE. He's already called him a cancer. I can see as far as some of the ties with John Moxley, the former Shield member, Dean Ambrose. Like I could see why they probably wouldn't want him there. But Meltzer did as far as report that there was as far as the spot where CM Punk was waving at towards the ring. We thought that he was kind of going towards Seth Rollins because Seth didn't take the news well. But apparently CM Punk was actually waving at Randy Orton because Randy Orton waved back at that. But there was some fan footage of Seth Rollins just losing his shit, man. Like he was just he looked like he wanted to go after CM Punk or make his way over, and he was kind of being restrained by Michael Cole of all people. But I showed some of the highlights and clips from fan footage from 2D, and me and him were just like, "Oh, here we go! Like here we go! Like already this guy's stirring up shit." And sure enough, unfortunately, was actually an angle. Meltzer did as far as notate this was actually a work.
Yeah,
To
that's
set
what I
up
was
an
gonna
angle.
say. I was pretty sure. I remember telling you, I don't know whether this is true or this is an thing. It can go either way because when you're working in the WWE system, this is way different than working in AEW
Yes.
system. And I think that that's why when you look at this, like people will say, "Oh, they already had a problem with them." Well, the way AEW is structured and the way WWE is structured, you're not gonna do the same thing that you did in AEW and WWE. There's just no way. I think that Tony has too much responsibility.
Yeah.
He's not running it completely as a company or as a production company. He's running it as what Tony wants to run it as. Like if us and you, me, and a bunch of friends got together and we hired people who are
Mm-hmm.
our friends,
Mm-hmm.
that's how we're going to give them leniency. When to me, you can't do that. At a certain point, you have to start acting like a boss. So I don't think that CM Punk is going to try to get away with the stuff that he got away with
No.
in AEW. You're not going to be looked at as somebody who people need to lean on. They already have a complete infrastructure in place. All he has to do is show up and do his job. And I think that AEW, as far as I don't think they care like as much as people think.
Mm-hmm.
That about him going there because people are like, oh, they're gonna be sick, and I even said Tony is probably sick right now. But then when I stop and I think about it, like the amount of talent that he has, why is he gonna be sick?
Right.
Why should he care? You just signed Will Ospreay. There's talks about as much as we say Mercedes might go to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
There's talks of her working with AEW.
And she should. She should to
So
get to maximize her contract.
yeah, so I don't think that this is going to affect AEW anyway
No.
because people are like, oh, people might leave. Well, people are gonna go back and forth anyway.
Oh
You're gonna
yeah.
get that regardless. You're not gonna have if you start in AEW, chances are most people who start there are not gonna finish there. At some point, they're gonna go to WWE. They're gonna go to Impact. They're gonna
Mm-hmm.
go other places to try to get the most money that they want and they can, and that's what they should do. And vice versa. People who start in WWE are gonna go to AEW. So I personally, as much as I was tired of talking about the CM Punk, and we've documented that so many times that I was
Yes.
just over talking about CM Punk. I think that this is interesting.
Yeah.
I personally think that him showing up in WWE is pretty funny,
Yeah.
and I want to see where this goes
Oh yeah. And I
because
know what you're
you
alluding to
can't.
because you think that we thought that when the footage of him like Seth Rollins the work angle apparently I thought that eventually he's gonna bump heads. It's gonna like
Oh
the
yeah,
this is the honeymoon stage. This happened in AEW, and I will give you as far as the lore of CM Punk. That lore, as far as him coming back, is gone because that's already
Yeah,
been done. And I know you said that.
yeah, that's what I was saying yesterday. That him coming back in AEW took away that when is CM Punk coming back? You know, because there was like this strange aura around when is
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk coming back, and when he came back in AEW, you can't replicate that. It's not like we haven't seen him wrestle. We've seen him wrestle this year. You know, we've seen him come back. We've seen him have storylines. So I think that aspect of it is gone, and AEW stole that and took it. But I think that from a business standpoint, you're going to sell a lot of CM Punk merch. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to sell a ton of CM Punk merch. Will his AEW stuff carry over if they go to Canada when they come to New York? Like New Yorkers and Canadians don't really feel for CM Punk like other
Oh
places
yeah,
do, especially like Chicago does. So will he get that
reaction.
those applause and reactions? Yeah, when he goes to other places, will he be a heel? Will he be a face? Because he's going to get booed in some places. That's just a fact. From what he did in AEW and the way that AEW marks are definitely going to go to WWE just to like boo him. He's going to get booed. He's going to get cheered. Is he coming back to put over young talent? You can't just beat CM Punk. So what? It's so interesting to see what's going to happen here. I'm so curious to
Yeah,
see how they're going to handle this.
I
How do you
mean,
do it?
well, they're saying, I think Meltzer brought up too. I hate bringing up Meltzer too, but he made some good points as far as that people think that CM they could just fire him anytime, but they think CM Punk would respect more WWE officials and
Of
especially
course.
Triple H. But I'm pretty he won't get away with some of the shit that he did in AEW with WWE, and they won't put up with it for sure. But I mean, here's the thing that kind of blew me away too, man. That Triple H said something. I guess it was like the right place, right time, is I believe what you told me he said. And I actually said that too when I
Yeah.
didn't even know about it. But what was the quote he said about the 10-year quote?
I can't remember.
He's
Don't give me the line.
he's
I can't
okay.
remember
Well, he
exactly
said pretty much like
what
you
he
can't be
said.
if you haven't changed after 10 years or
Oh, yes, yes, yes. If you haven't changed after 10 years and you're not growing up, he's changed and CM Punk's changed and a lot of things have changed over 10 years and I'm thinking to myself, CM Punk ain't changed, bro. We
he
just
hasn't
saw
changed
her
in
happen
10
in
weeks,
AEW.
bro.
He did not change. He was suspended twice. He was suspended twice and had like 2 fights. There's no way that CM Punk changed. The only thing that changed about CM Punk is now that he did UFC, he thinks he could beat people.
Oh
That's about it that
god.
changed.
I mean, it's
So
gonna okay. So we think you, and I think you agree with me here as far as we think the honeymoon period will probably run its way into WrestleMania, but after that, when he starts getting as far as his body starts to wear down, he gets irritated or he doesn't like as far as how young talent works, which is what he had issues with AEW. He's gonna run his mouth or he's gonna say something that's gonna catch the attention of some of the upper guys, like directly, like for instance Seth Rollins or most importantly Roman Reigns. But we think as far as when it comes to we believe the work angle was setting up Seth Rollins going against CM Punk at WrestleMania in Philadelphia. I think that's probably the route they're gonna go, which kind of makes sense,
yeah,
especially
probably.
the angle that they worked after the show, which is kind of weird that they didn't show that on WWE. I haven't seen it
Because
myself,
they're not gonna show him cursing the way he was. He was
but
dropping
yeah,
a bunch of F bombs.
I don't
And
know,
I do
man.
have to push back on you as far as I don't think he's going to test his luck like he did in AEW. Because he
For now,
can't get away with it. Even no, in general, he's not going to get away with it. WWE is not going to sit there and tolerate that. See, when he did it in AEW, he had WWE in his back pocket.
hmm
Once you get let go by WWE, who do you have in your back pocket? Impact? You get what I'm saying?
well, I
So
mean, Impact did make an offer to him because they struck
exactly,
out
and he
on Will
didn't accept
Ospreay
it.
and they obviously struck out on CM Punk.
But he didn't accept it because he knew he could get more money. So
Oh yeah,
when he left AEW, he knew that he could probably get back in with WWE. If you get fired by WWE, who's gonna hire you? And they don't have any problems firing
oh
people.
no, they don't need him.
Just go ask Matt Riddle.
Oh,
They
dude,
will get
yeah.
rid of you. So I don't understand why like the AEW marks are saying, "Oh, good luck with him." Yeah, he might not have changed, and he's gonna have that sour attitude, but he's not gonna be as expressive as he was in AEW because he doesn't have that kind of power. Not Vince, Triple H and them are not leaning on him like Tony was.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Tony's problem came in, where he's leaning on the Young Bucks, he's leaning on Kenny Omega, he was leaning on Cody, he's leaning on CM Punk. You can't lean on talent. You have to have an infrastructure in place where you're leaning on advisors, where like you have a Dean Malenko, you have Jeff Jarrett. Like Jeff Jarrett doesn't need to be a talent. Jeff Jarrett needs to be in the back making sure that things go right. You have a Paul White. You know what I'm saying? People
Mm-hmm.
who know how the business works. When you start leaning on talent, and as much as I like the Young Bucks, and even when CM Punk first came back, you remember I said I was here for it.
Oh yeah.
But people all have their own agendas, and talent also have their own agendas because they're still trying to get all the money that they can. When you look backstage in WWE and you have the producers that they have, and they have the writers and stuff that they have, they're not looking for, they don't have their own agendas. They're not looking for anything extra. Like as a wrestler, your money comes the more popular you are. So of course you want to put yourself in the best positions. When you're a producer or a writer and things like that, or a person in the executive office, what happens on screen as far as with certain characters really doesn't
Mm-hmm.
benefit you or negate you in any way. So I think that CM Punk is definitely going to be able to, have a little bit of freedom,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not gonna have AEW freedom.
No.
He's not getting his own show on another network like he did in AEW.
Well, and to allude to, you added another point that you kind of, I really want to highlight some of the stuff that you said, like we were talking offline. Another, what D is pretty much saying, like the stuff that he was doing in AEW, he can't do. In other words, like he had that
No.
red bag with the old AEW belt on there. He damn sure ain't going to do that in WWE, especially if WWE does
No.
not want to risk a lawsuit for sure. I believe you said that.
Yeah, I don't know how it would go, but I'm sure that it's got to be intellectual property.
Oh yeah.
And you're not like this isn't back in the '90s when Alundra Blaze did that with the WWE Women's Title.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that he's gonna show up with the AEW Championship
I'm sure he would
because I'm
try.
quite sure that he had to sign a lot of paperwork when he got let go.
Oh well, he
You
couldn't do it
know,
because TKO won't let him.
well, I don't know who will and who won't, but I just know that he probably signed a lot of paperwork when he got let go. And who knows what kind of things because of what happened with Alundra Blaze all them years ago. We don't know what things that are put in place to make sure that that doesn't happen again. 'Cause I'm quite
Yeah.
sure every company is just like, yeah, we're not going to allow that to happen with our title. You're not throwing my title in the garbage.
Well, I think that's probably the. I mean, that kind of makes sense now after the angle, what took place after the aftermath of Survivor Series with the War Games. The road to WrestleMania starts. This like CM Punk is literally the trigger as far as that started the road to WrestleMania. Like he is at the top. When I took a peek at the men's Royal Rumble, he is at the very top. He's locked. They don't have odds for him, but he was at the top because Vegas has not decided um, who it's going to be. But I think I'd like to see more CM Punk and Seth. I think that could work, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I
And
don't think you need him to win the Royal Rumble. I think that him winning the Royal Rumble is the. I have a problem with people like him and Brock Lesnar and those guys winning the Royal Rumble because you've been here. You're an established star. You don't need the Royal Rumble. Give it to somebody who. Give it to the person who's gonna beat Roman.
who do you give it to?
You know what I'm saying? I have no idea. I have no idea who they think should be the one to beat Roman. I'm still curious as to what they're gonna do with Roman. Roman is just I don't know. It's just crazy.
Is it
It's
Cody
crazy what
again?
they're doing. Fuck if I know,
Ugh.
man.
I
Because
get
Roman
yeah.
is. I mean, like I told you the other day. I think that they're gonna have Roman beat Hulk Hogan's record.
Yes, I guess now that you brought up Roman, I'll bring him in as far as how he plays into this upcoming spring. I think Roman is probably the one that will if he doesn't want CM Punk in WWE, he might, especially if he acts up, he might have a word with Triple H and possibly like
Why would
the
Roman care though?
huh?
CM Punk. Why would Roman care? CM Punk's not gonna
He
interfere with him
he
and his
sees
family.
himself as the main guy that is the head of the locker room. He's not. He's the head of the table, but he's the guy. He's the backstage leader.
Okay,
But
but
even though
he's
he's
not
not there,
interfering with him and his family.
wait, what'd you say?
He's not interfering with Roman and his family. So why does I don't see Roman caring as much as people think he's gonna care. He's
Um,
not. Nobody is touching Roman's spot. Roman is a god in
yeah.
WWE.
I mean, he's
And his family is locked in. So there's nobody that's going to touch his spot. So I don't see Roman caring as much as other people would, like a Seth Rollins would.
uh-huh.
Roman is barely there. Seth is there on a regular basis. I can see him caring. See, what's really intriguing to me is, like, if Drew McIntyre isn't a big fan of him, did he sign his contract yet?
That's another one.
Because his contract was coming up last I heard. I don't know if he signed a new one or not, but if he didn't, that's going to be interesting.
I
You
mean,
know,
they could push. If he's not happy in WWE, I mean, I'm sure
they
AEW wouldn't
definitely
mind signing him, and yeah, they could use him at All in the UK because buy your tickets now before Christmas.
AEW would snatch him in a
Bro,
heartbeat.
I would love to see the promos that he would cut in AEW. Just as what was his old name? Drew Galloway,
Oh yeah, that was his
indie name.
yeah, that was his nephew because that's his real name, I believe.
Oh, see, I like that. I mean, you, right now it's a very interesting time. I'll say that as a wrestling fan, this is probably we're still in the peak up right now where it's at. But I'm with D as far as agreeing that we've talked that we don't see Roman losing at WrestleMania. They're likely going to have him break Hogan's record, but I just hope Roman goes into the full Hogan gimmick and just kind of just tell CM Punk that doesn't work for me, brother. Especially wants to challenge him, but I don't see CM Punk and Roman kind of. I was gonna ask you if you thought CM Punk and Roman would probably wrestle. You could beat him. That you could elevate Roman. That would definitely be another notch in his belt to beat CM Punk at WrestleMania. I guess kind of a way to kind of prove it. Like, hey, you want to be here? Prove it. Put the younger guy over. Like, but I mean, because I agree. I don't think Roman's gonna lose, and why put him against someone a younger talent and have him get beaten by Roman, whether it's Cody or LA Knight or anyone else. I think CM Punk kind of makes sense, but especially
See,
with
what
Paul
the
Heyman
problem with
there.
that to me is you can't keep having the Royal Rumble winner lose to Roman. You can't keep doing that.
Well, that's what I'm
Because then
saying.
what's the point of the Royal Rumble?
That's my issue with this. Like, I think the Royal Rumble is kind of pointless, and also WrestleMania the main event because I'm willing to bet the house on Roman that he's not losing.
So that's why I'm with you where I can see where CM Punk could win it. But to me, you should do that match. I don't. It's just tough. I'm interested to see because I'm glad I don't have to make these decisions.
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
say that much.
I'll say this: my lock of 2024 is Roman Reigns
Oh
will win
God, stop it!
at
Stop it!
WrestleMania.
Stop your lock!
Book it, brother.
Stop your lock, buddy! Stop your locks!
Lock of the year.
Just-
Put the mortgage, the
Oh,
car,
God.
the house, the kids, everybody. Lock it in, brother.
All right, guys. That means Roman Reigns is dropping his titles at WrestleMania.
Well, we'll see, but quote me on that shit. But anyway, well, I guess any other thoughts on as far as what's coming up with WWE or as far as where they head to with the Royal Rumble?
No, I'm interested to see what's going to happen with CM Punk.
Yeah, CM Punk will be on
I was
Raw
tired of
the next
talking
day.
about him,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
I
yeah.
am definitely interested to see what's going to happen now that he's actually in WWE, and I want to see if he tries to pull any of that nonsense. Because as much as I say he's not going to, and I don't think he can or will, you just never know.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
and that's the
I'm here
intrigue.
for it.
I'm here for it too. I'm very curious to see where they go with this, and if well, let me ask you this.
I'm here
More
for
or
all the
less.
chaos.
Yes,
Some
the
people
chaos.
wanna see
When do you
the
see the chaos happen? Do you see chaos happening?
There's always going to be some kind of chaos, especially with CM Punk.
Oh man.
There was chaos when he left WWE. There was chaos when he left AEW, and I believe there's going to be more chaos. Some people just want to see the world burn, and I'm here for it.
God, what's
for it.
the definition of insanity? I believe it's
Doing the
doing the
same
same thing over and
over and
over and
over.
expecting different
Yep.
results. Yep.
Well,
So
look, that's great for us. Him being in WWE is great for us. Him
yes,
anything with CM Punk is great for us because that gives us something to talk about.
yes,
And I'm quite sure CM Punk is going to give us a lot to talk about over the next however long his contract is, a year or two.
yeah.
Because we say all of this about him causing trouble. How long before he gets hurt again?
Oh, that's the other thing too, man. And I do want to give a disclaimer. Like, I don't want people thinking we're like CM Punk haters or WWE haters, and because I did talk
Oh,
to
bro,
these
I
with
don't
their
care.
AEW marks, we're fans of both products. If you're,
Yeah,
I was going on Twitter and I showed D some as far as like screenshots as far as the comments that people W fans were tweeting at Tony Khan on his Twitter. Absolutely pathetic. Like so, the WWE drone fans are the worst. The WWE only fans
I
are
mean,
by far
the
the worst fans.
AEW,
AEW
those AEW
fanboys
marks
are
aren't any
second,
better.
but
They ain't no better.
we're right in the middle. We'll watch a little bit of everything as far as whether it's New Japan, AEW, WWE, an independent show.
Look, I like
Whether
wrestling.
if or a video that I showed D earlier today that I will not discuss.
No, yeah, no. We almost stopped being friends behind that one. But I'll say this for myself. I like wrestling.
Yes.
I don't get anything out of WWE succeeding. I don't get anything out of AEW succeeding. I get to make content when they're both doing good. And when
Mm-hmm.
they're both doing bad, I get to make content about them both sucking. I get to talk about Impact. I get to talk about any wrestling company that I want. I just like watching wrestling. I don't care whose company you're with. I don't have favoritism towards AEW. I don't have favoritism towards WWE.
Right.
None of it at all means anything to me except to
We
watch
just
people
want good
go out there.
matches. Good matches. Yeah.
That's it. Like I don't want to see AEW fail. I don't want to see WWE fail. I don't want to see any wrestling company fail because one, competition makes them have to work harder. Two,
Yeah.
I like seeing wrestlers be able to say, you know what, fine, I'll go to this company. Oh, you don't want to push me? I'll go to this. Like a perfect example is Swerve. Like when he was in WWE, I wanted to see him get pushed heavily. He didn't. Now he's in AEW and it took a while, but he's getting pushed heavily. That's what I care about. I want to see the guys who I like and the women that I like get pushed and
Mm-hmm.
get noticed. Which company is for, I really couldn't care less. Like Jade Cargill, I think she was wasted as a TBS champion. Was she a decent champion? Yeah, but do I think that Triple H is going to do better with her? Absolutely.
Yes. I mean, me personally, I
So
thought she should have been started away from NXT, work way to the main roster, but that's just me. But whatever. Because NXT ain't bad right now.
no, not at all. NXT has never really been bad except for that 2.0
Yeah,
rebranding crap
the
that they
Skittles brand. Yeah.
yeah, so but other than that, like I said, I'm just here for good wrestling.
Yes.
So if people have anything miss me with oh, I prefer AEW or WWE, I don't have a preference. I like watching New Japan, I like watching hell, I like watching Defy, I like watching Deadlock, I like watching
Impact.
Impact. You know, I talk to you about them all
Triple
the
A.
time. There's a bunch
Arriba.
of stuff I like to watch. Yeah. I don't have people I like wrestlers. I
Yeah.
don't care about companies. And what makes it even better for me is when you watch somebody like in WWE for a long time and you have these dream matches in your head, or you watch somebody in AEW and then you're like, wow, I'm finally gonna get this dream match. Regardless of what company it is, I'm gonna get this dream match. Because now it's a possibility with people going back and forth.
Yep.
That's all I care about. I really don't care about, people's personal feelings.
Tribalism.
If you like AEW better, that's fine. Watch what you like.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
I
enough
agree.
wrestling out there that you can just watch what you like.
I mean, we could
Don't bother me with your nonsense.
we can go on about as far as tribalism, but we'll leave it at that. So, okay. Any last thoughts on the card itself? I guess you said it was a great card. Like, it was a decent card.
Yeah, it was a good card.
Okay.
I didn't say great. It
Okay.
was a good card. It's
I mean, it
definitely
is
worth a watch. Better than what I thought it was gonna be. Like I said, I didn't expect Bailey to take that pin. I expected it to be Shotzi. The
Mhm.
Miz Gunther match was much better than what I expected it to be. Because the Miz has been around forever, but you kind of lose the fact that he is actually a decent wrestler.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see what Zoe Stark is gonna be going forward because I enjoyed her stuff with the Trish storyline with Becky,
Mhm.
and I thought that was a good match. So I'm here for it.
I'll try to watch
Hopefully
the
the women start
females.
getting more
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Hopefully they could do a little bit more with the women, and I'm curious to see who the women's participant for the Rumble will be. But God, I was gonna ask you something, but I completely it just escaped me now. But anyway, I guess yeah, 2024 should be an interesting as far as upcoming year. Oh, what I remember now. No pay-per-views for a while. The next pay-per-view for WWE will be the Rumble, unless you're not excluding as far as NXT. NXT has deadline, I believe, but AEW still has World's End, so we'll at least have that one covered. I do want as far as say I will likely have some footage for AEW Collision when it comes down to San Antonio, so I'll have as far as some videos as far as highlight from my travels there. There should be plenty of seats available for sure. I think Dee was kind of mulling where you thought about going to the World's End.
Yeah, I can't remember. There was one that was here in New York in the Nassau Coliseum, I believe, that I was thinking about.
Well, one of us is going at the end of the year for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, guys, anything else? Any last words?
No, not at all. I think I used up all my last words.
I gotcha. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Thanks everyone for listening. For D, I am Ray. We'll be back later. We'll talk to you again.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Later.